The Lost Generation from 1883 to 1900. Born during a time of rapid industrialization and urbanization, this generation came of age during World War I and its aftermath, witnessing the devastation and disillusionment that followed. Many of them grew up in rural areas but migrated to cities in search of work. They experienced the hardships of war, economic depression, and societal upheaval. They were often characterized by their resilience, adaptability, and creativity. Despite the challenges they faced, they sought to express themselves through art, literature, and other forms of cultural rebellion. They were often viewed as a generation deeply affected by the trauma of war, with a sense of aimlessness and cynicism. However, they also contributed significantly to the cultural and intellectual landscape of the early 20th century. The Greatest Generation from 1901 to 1927. This generation experienced the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression, and World War II. They witnessed both economic prosperity and hardship on a global scale. Many of them grew up during the economic boom of the 1920s, but were deeply impacted by the economic collapse of the 1930s. They rallied together during World War II, experiencing both the horrors of war and the triumph of victory. Known for their sense of duty, resilience, and patriotism, they were often seen as the backbone of society. They valued hard work, sacrifice, and traditional family values. They were widely respected for their contributions to the war effort and rebuilding society after war. They were seen as a generation of heroes who endured hardship with grace and determination. The Silent Generation, from 1928 to 1945. Growing up during the post-war era, this generation experienced the economic boom of the 1950s and the beginning of the Cold War. They were shaped by the values of conformity, stability, and traditionalism. Many of them grew up in suburban America, enjoying the benefits of economic prosperity and increased consumerism. They were raised during a time of social conservatism and conformity. They were known for their strong work ethic, respect for authority, and adherence to social norms. They tended to value stability and security over individualism and rebellion. They were often seen as the silent generation, overshadowed by the larger and more vocal baby boomer generation. However, they played a significant role in maintaining social order and stability during a period of rapid change. Baby boomers, from 1946 to 1964. Born in the aftermath of World War II, this generation experienced unprecedented economic growth, cultural change, and social upheaval. They came of age during the Civil Rights Movement, the Vietnam War, and the countercultural revolution of the 1960s. Baby boomers grew up in a time of prosperity and optimism. With access to higher education and job opportunities, they embraced new cultural trends and challenged traditional values and institutions. They were characterized by their idealism, ambition, and sense of entitlement. They sought to challenge authority and create a more just and equitable society. They were often seen as a generation of rebels who rejected the values of their parents' generation and sought to create a more inclusive and egalitarian society. However, they were also criticized for their self-indulgence and materialism. Generation Jones, from 1955 to 1965. This microgeneration falls between the baby boomers and Generation X, experiencing both the idealism of the former and the pragmatism of the latter. They grew up during a time of economic instability and social change. Generation Jones witnessed the rise of consumerism, globalization, and technological innovation. They came of age during the oil crisis, stagflation, and the end of the Vietnam War. They were often characterized by their sense of unfulfilled expectations and struggle for identity. Caught between two larger generations, they faced challenges in finding their place in society. They were seen as a generation marked by economic uncertainty and disillusionment. Despite their ambitions, they struggled to achieve the same level of success and prosperity as their parents' generation. Generation X from 1965 to 1980. Generation X grew up during a time of social and economic instability, marked by events such as the oil crisis, stagflation, and the Cold War. They came of age in the 1980s and 1990s, witnessing the fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War. They were often referred to as the latchkey kids, as many grew up in dual-income households where both parents worked. They were the first generation to embrace personal computers and witness the rise of MTV and the Internet. Generation X is characterized by their independence, skepticism, and adaptability. They value work-life balance and are known for their entrepreneurial spirit and willingness to challenge traditional norms. They were often portrayed as cynical and disaffected, rejecting the idealism of the baby boomers in favor of a more pragmatic approach to life. However, they have also been praised for their resilience and ability to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Zennials, late 1970s to early 1980s. Zennials bridge the gap between Generation X and Millennials, growing up in a world that was transitioning from analog to digital. They experienced the rise of the Internet and the emergence of new technologies during their formative years. They were the last generation to grow up without the Internet, but were quick to adopt new digital technologies as they became available. They experienced cultural touchstones such as the rise of grunge music and the fall of the Berlin Wall. Zennials exhibit characteristics of both Generation X and Millennials. They are tech-savvy and entrepreneurial like Millennials, but also share Generation X's skepticism and pragmatism. They are often seen as a bridge between two generations, able to navigate both the analog and digital worlds. They are praised for their adaptability and resilience in the face of rapid technological change. Millennials, from 1981 to 1996. Millennials grew up during a time of rapid technological advancement, globalization, and economic uncertainty. They witnessed events such as the 9/11 terrorist attacks, the rise of social media, and the 2008 financial crisis. They are the first generation to be true digital natives, growing up with smartphones, social media, and instant access to information. They value experiences over material possessions and seek meaning and fulfillment in their work. Millennials are characterized by their idealism, diversity, and desire for work-life balance. They are highly educated and socially conscious, advocating for issues such as climate change, social justice, and mental health awareness. They are often criticized for being entitled and narcissistic, but they have also been praised for their optimism and willingness to challenge the status quo. They are the largest generation in the workforce and are poised to have a significant impact on society. Generation Z, from 1997 to 2012, Generation Z is the most diverse and digitally connected generation yet. They grew up in a post-9/11 world marked by terrorism, economic recession, and political polarization. They have never known a world without smartphones, social media, and instant access to information. They are characterized by their fluency in digital technology and their ability to navigate the online world. They are highly connected and value authenticity, diversity, and inclusivity. Generation Z is entrepreneurial, socially conscious, and politically engaged. They are concerned about issues such as climate change, LGBTQ+ rights, and racial equality. They are also known for their creativity and ability to use technology to effect positive change. They are often seen as pragmatic and realistic, having grown up in a time of economic uncertainty and social upheaval. They are praised for their activism and willingness to speak out on issues that matter to them. Generation Alpha, 2013 onwards. The oldest members of Generation Alpha are still very young, but they are growing up in an increasingly digital and interconnected world. They are the children of Millennials and Generation Z, and are expected to be the most technologically immersed generation yet. They are growing up in a world where technology is seamlessly integrated into every aspect of their lives. They are digital natives from birth, with access to smartphones, tablets, and other devices from a young age. Generation Alpha is expected to be highly adaptive, creative, and entrepreneurial. They are likely to have a global perspective and a strong sense of social responsibility. They will be the first generation to fully embrace technologies such as artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and augmented reality. As they are still very young, it is difficult to predict how they will be perceived by society. However, they are likely to be seen as highly connected, innovative, and socially conscious.